A lot of videographers are 1 month away from having a real job, and it's not because they lack talent or they're not doing really good work. It is simply because the model is broken. And so, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the ad content agency model. I'm going to break it down, the problems that it solves, and also how it is one of the most profitable and efficient business models that you can implement for your business so that you can actually have an asset that will give you time and location freedom. And so, if you're new to this channel, my name is Luis Trevino. I have been building and running agencies for the last 15 years. And in that time, I've built several agencies, but the current agency that I own is called Everable. We took that agency from zero all the way to $1.5 million a year. We done over $7 million in total revenue in the last 5 years. And today it runs without me with only 4 hours of work a week. So my entire goal with this channel is to help videographers and feast and famine in their business stop chasing one-time projects so that you can stack monthly reoccurring revenue all the way up to $25,000 to $50,000 a month. Not to build another job for yourself, but to build a real agency that you can turn into an asset ultimately so you can spend more time with your families, pursue artistic passions, and have time and location freedom. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I shared with you some of the highlights, but it obviously didn't start off this way. To share with you a little bit more of my personal story, and I have a whole video on my YouTube channel that dives into that. I actually went to art school. I have a degree in graphic design, and that's how I got into everything that's creative, to graphic work, to photography, to videography. And I always knew in the very beginning that I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to work for anyone else. So I actually started doing freelance work while I was in college. And that was a very difficult time. A lot of people in my field start off freelance. And so you obviously know what I'm talking about, because what I realized after the crash and burn and working 12, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, sleeping under my desk, is that it's really hard to sell creative work, especially to local businesses. Now, if you're one of those people that does a lot of work for high-end brands or for big corporations, that's awesome. Continue to do that. The problem that I see is that there's less work for those types of businesses and budgets are getting smaller. And where I see the big opportunity is working with local businesses, but not in the way that we traditionally work with local businesses. And so what I ended up figuring out is that it was really hard for me to justify my value when I was trying to sell simply creative work, when I was trying to sell something and portray it as, hey, this is beautiful, so therefore you should pay me more. I am more skilled. I am better than the other guy. That's why I charge more. That's why I'm more expensive. And it's really hard to communicate that, because at the end of the day, you are speaking a different language than an actual business owner. The reality is that you are not, when you speak in those terms, you are not necessarily communicating value. Because if you are working with businesses, most businesses don't just want something that is beautiful, and they might essentially hire you, and you probably work with somebody that hire you because they really loved your work. The problem is that most videographers will keep that client for a short period of time, and then they end up losing that client. So they do a one-time project, it's beautiful work, awesome, thank you, bye, right? Or if you have a content retainer, which I am totally against, you have, maybe you can keep that client from 2 to 3 months, maybe sometimes even more. But as soon as that client starts having financial hardships, most of the time you end up being one of the first things that they cut. And this is what I ended up finding out the hard way, is that if I can't help my clients afford my paycheck every single month, then it's going to be really hard for me to keep this client for the long term. And so this is where then I was struggling, a lot of feast and famine. You guys know what that's like. And so I wanted to find a solution to this. And at the end of the day, that solution for me was ultimately figuring out how I can increase my value to those people and how I could actually get them to afford me. And so I ended up learning how to run ads. And I know that for some of you, that might be a turnoff, but at the end of the day, you have to help your clients make money. What you're doing for them is simply a video that is going to be on their website, whether it's a brand story film or you're making social content for them, it's going to go on their socials. The reality and the truth is that oftentimes you do this work for them and it goes to their website or to their socials to die because the algorithm oftentimes, you're gambling, right? Like at the end of the day, you are not going to know if this content is actually going to go anywhere. And the reality is that most clients have no idea what to do with that content. Sometimes they take forever to post it. And so I oftentimes tell people it's actually in your interest to distribute that content so that you can get more eyeballs on your work. And if you get more eyeballs on your work, you'll probably get more people saying, hey, what this person, like I love what this business put out. I wonder who did it. And then oftentimes they reach out to the business owner and ask who did it. And then you get a referral. So it's actually in your best interest. Not only for that, but it's also in your best interest because at the end of the day, your client is going to make more money if more people see the video that you create. And so oftentimes I tell videographers that, look, you're solving one part of the problem, but if you can solve the entire part of the problem, then at the end of the day, you will become more valuable. And if you become more valuable, then therefore you can charge more. And so I always tell people it's a three-legged stool. Video and creative is simply one part of the problem, but it doesn't solve the entire problem. What if at the end of the day, you can make an amazing video, you can distribute that video using advertising, and then ultimately you can help your clients generate leads and you can help them manage those leads so that they actually get customers. This is what the ad content agency model is all about. And to me, it is a way more profitable and efficient business model because the production model at the end of the day, I believe it is flawed. I ran a creative agency. We did anything and everything for 7 years. And even though we did decent amount of revenue, we did about $600,000, I think at the most that we ever did in a single year, our profitability was horrible and my quality of life was horrible. Like I said, I was working 12, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, sleeping under my desk, missing birthdays, missing time with my family, not going to church, like all these things, because at the end of the day, I was prioritizing my clients and my business over my quality of life. What I realized is that the production model is flawed simply because if you want to make more money, you always have to do more. It's kind of like a doctor, right? I mean, same thing. Like if a doctor wants to make more money, they have to see more patients. And so it's really hard for you to take a vacation. It's really hard for you to have, time for anything else because every time you are not in front of the computer, in front of the camera, or whatever it might be, you are not making money. And so what is that? You have zero leverage. Yes, you can start building a team, but the work in itself is just too time and labor intensive. And so if you hire a team, you can make more money, but that money will then simply just go out. So you buy back your time, but at the end of the day, your profitability is horrible because it is still too time and labor intensive. So let that sink in. So at the end of the day, to me, what's so beautiful at the ad content agency model is that you go and film ads for clients and you go and do that once. And the way that you're getting paid is not by delivering content every single month. That puts you in what I call the content creation hamster wheel. The deliverable ends up being you generating leads for clients, and you can leverage money, AKA ad spend, to actually help them get that result. And so in the business world, we say that you either have time or you have money. And if you have money, well, then you can buy back your time. That is leverage, right? And so the same thing applies to advertising. If I don't have any money, I can go knock on doors and I can show people my ad one by one by one. That obviously is going to take a lot of time and energy. Or I could just spend money, give it to Facebook where people are hanging out on Instagram, Facebook, right? And I can just have the algorithm show that ad for me while I'm hanging out doing something else, right? And so that then is leverage, that then is efficiency. And so the beautiful thing about this is that if you do this for your clients, they make more money. So they're going to be happier with you. They're going to stay longer. They stay longer, then it means you make more money because they're going to keep paying you every single month, but you're actually also working less for that same amount of money, if not more. And the reason being is because, again, you're letting the ads do the heavy lifting for you. And so therefore it is a lot more profitable business model. It is more efficient and your quality of life is better because you don't have to be driving around every single day or as many times as you do right now to go and shoot video and then stay up super late at night editing these videos so that you can continue to pump these videos out so that you can get paid next month. What's also so beautiful about the business model is that I get paid on subscription. So I get paid up front. None of this, net 15, net 30, net 16 or whatever. We get paid up front for our service and we get paid on subscription every single month. So we don't have any cash flow issues, right? A lot of businesses fail because of lack of sales and of lack of cash flow. And so this then solves the cash flow problem, and we don't have a sales issue because we are constantly in demand because we are providing a service that people actually want because we're solving a bigger problem. It is more attractive to sell someone on, hey, let me help you make money versus saying, hey, let me help you make a video and you figure out how to make money with it, right? This is called a turnkey solution because when someone pays me for this solution, it solves a problem. That's why it's called a solution. So the idea is that you stop selling deliverables and you start selling results, right? When you can sell outcomes, then you can have your clients afford you because you're actually generating an ROI. And when you don't do this, clients just see you as an expense versus actually now they actually can start to see you as an investment. And this is where you want to be. This is why then you become a lot more attractive to them. And when you're actually able to help clients get results, well, then this is where you can keep clients for the long term. I mean, we've had clients that we've had since 2020 and they pay us on subscription every single month. Why? Because we continue to generate results for them, right? And so that is the beautiful thing about the business model. And so the idea then is as you start generating results for clients, you start stacking reoccurring revenue. You can charge anywhere from $25 to $5,000 a month. Man, I have students that I work with that charge more than that, right? And so the whole point is that you start stacking reoccurring revenue and you stop restarting from zero every single month. And that is the beauty of this. And I think it's kind of ironic because a lot of creatives, including myself, we don't like sales. Like we don't like selling, but yet we build a business that forces us to continue to be selling every single month. Well, instead of selling every single month, what if you start stacking reoccurring revenue and you stop restarting from zero, right? You sell the same person over and over again without having to sell them because your service sells your service for you. Let that sink in. All right. So the framework is quite simple. There's a 4-step process that I walk people through. And so number one is that you want to productize your service, right? A lot of you really love doing custom work. And mind you, hey man, I love doing custom work too. My whole philosophy with this business is that let's build a business that's profitable, that's efficient, that's going to buy you your time back. And let's get some monthly recurring revenue so that it covers your bases. Nothing is more stressful than having a business where you have no recurring revenue. I oftentimes tell people that it's kind of like this bottle of water that has holes at the bottom. So you have to be refilling it every single month. Nothing is more stressful, right? So if you can build a business where you can stack reoccurring revenue by adding just one additional service to what you're currently doing, which is paid advertising as a method of distribution, then dude, get to 10K a month, get to 15, 20K a month, figure out whatever it is that you need to cover your basis, your overhead, your salary, your mortgage, your bills, your team salary, whatever it is, have that as monthly recurring revenue. It's going to take the stress off your shoulders. And then whenever you get a job, a one-time project that is an actual fun project that lights you up, then by all means take it. It's the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top. And so that is what's so beautiful about the business model. I'm not telling you, hey, stop doing custom work. What I'm saying is build some monthly recurring revenue so that you can not be so stressed out all the time. And instead of just saying yes to every project that comes your way, even though some projects you only say yes to because you need to pay the bills, but you're not excited about, well, have monthly recurring revenue, make it an easy thing to fulfill on, and then only say yes to projects that you're excited about. And that's my whole philosophy when it comes to building this business, right? So you want to productize your business. You're selling 25 to 5K a month clients. Dude, if you can have 4 clients at 5K a month, that's $20,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. And fulfilling on those services is actually way more efficient and profitable than you would if you're doing a ton of production work. You oftentimes you can have profitability anywhere between 70 to 80%. So it's a drastic difference. Step two is that you want to add paid distribution. So again, like I said, you are already making amazing content for people. Why not also just run ads for them? And it's actually quite easy to do. I have another video here on my YouTube channel where I talk about the 4 P's framework. And so go and check that out. But ads is very formulaic, and everybody that I've worked with has never run ads before, and somehow they manage to get results for their clients, right? So you can go and check out some of those testimonials here in my channel. And step three, you want to add and build lead nurture systems into your service. And the whole concept with this is that you want to facilitate leads turning into customers for clients. And we do that using software. Again, it's very easy to do once you understand what you're doing, but that then helps your clients actually convert those leads, and therefore they make money, they keep you every single month. And then step four is that you're tracking ROI, right? You're telling your clients, hey, here's how much money I made you every single month. And the more that you can do that, the more you can keep your clients. And so when you're able to do this thing on repeat, that's when you keep clients for a year and on. That's how you have really good relationships where clients are just wanting to work with you because you are providing value to them. They stick around because you are the money. You are essentially now an asset that's bringing in revenue instead of a liability. And if they fire you, well, then they lose that asset. They lose the revenue that you're making them. And so that's why it's a way stickier service than just making content for people. And so there's a few case studies you can check out on my channel. A really good one is Joshua, one of my recent ones. In the channel, I think he was doing about 20K a month. Now he's up to 36K a month. He's since January to April 2026, he's done over $120,000 in actual revenue in his business. It's just him, an editor, and a VA at the moment. So his profitability is through the roof. And on top of that, he's helping his clients really get amazing results. And this dude has a really crazy story because he moved from Texas to Orange County. He didn't have a website. He had zero connections. He learned how to run paid ads for himself. And once you learn how to run paid ads for yourself, you'll never go hungry because you know how to spend money to make money. So the dude turned $1,000 into 30 grand. And he says that in the video. And actually, I think it was more than that, if I'm not mistaken. But most recently, and I'll post a screenshot here, that same 1K turned into 100 grand because those clients have stayed on, and now he's done over 100 grand in revenue because of those initial $1,000. And so that's what's so beautiful about this. When you learn the skill of acquisition through advertising, you'll never go hungry because you know how to spend money to make money. And now he's able to provide for his family. Now he's looking to purchase a home in Orange County. And so a lot of really good stuff. And this guy's on the up and up. Go check him out if you want to learn more about what he's doing. One of my other really good case studies was Jordan was struggling with having a content agency because he just kept losing clients. He couldn't keep them. Once he learned how to run paid ads for his clients, everything changed for him, and you can listen to it for yourself. But it's also about providing value, man. Like at the end of the day, it feels good when you can help your clients make money because they're real people just like you. And when you can help them make money, you change their lives. And it is so powerful when you're able to do that because it is so fulfilling. He told me a story about he was working with a gym owner, and the wife of the gym owner told him, "You gave my husband his dream back." And they were having marital problems because of their business and all this stuff. And now because of Jordan, they're doing a lot better, right? Not only financially, but also in their marriage and, you know, their business, all that good stuff, right? And so Jordan's also doing about 30 grand right now. I believe he's almost at 40 grand. And so building a thriving business, having a lot of fun doing it, having a lot of fun making cool videos for clients, but not just cool videos that get clients results, which is the most important thing, right? And so there's many more case studies in the channel, so go and check those out. But if you want the full framework and the roadmap, follow me on Instagram. If you want to learn more, send me a DM with the word inner circle, and I can send you a video that kind of breaks this down a little bit more. And if it's something that you want some help with, you want to implement in your business, you want to stack some monthly recurring revenue by adding paid ads as a distribution method to your business, then let's chat. All right. There's ton more content in the channel. So hopefully you find this insightful. Please give it a like. Please give me a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.